So, you're looking for a dog trainer here in Southport. That's fantastic. Having a dog that you can confidently take anywhere in our beautiful town, from the waterfront to the historic streets, well, that's what it's all about. And you've come to the right place to figure out exactly how to do that. Just picture this for a second. It's a gorgeous afternoon, and you and your pup are just strolling along the Riverwalk. No pulling, no barking. Then maybe you stop at an outdoor cafe, and your dog is just chilling, happy, relaxed, and enjoying the day right there with you. That's the dream, right? Well, that's the goal, and it all starts with finding the right training partner. All right, so let's get into our first section, training for Southport life. You might think training is training, but what makes it so helpful for life right here in Southport? Well, our town has its own special charm, its own environment, and a well-behaved dog gets to be a part of all of it. Think about all the things your dog sees and hears on a typical Southport day. You've got the beautiful waterfronts, which means birds and all kinds of new smells. You've got those sometimes narrow sidewalks downtown, plus the busy summer crowds. And it's not just people. Your dog needs to be cool with some pretty unique stuff, like the noise from boat traffic and all the sounds coming from the marina. Okay, next section. Before you even start Googling trainers, it's really helpful to know what you're looking for. So let's talk about some of the basics, the different training options out there. Probably the most important concept you'll hear about is positive reinforcement. It sounds technical, but it's actually super simple. All it means is that you reward the behaviors you like. So when your dog sits calmly, you give them something they love, a treat, a toy, or just some praise. It's all about teaching them what to do instead of just punishing them for what not to do. It builds a way better bond too. So when you're looking at programs, you'll mainly see two big options. First, you've got group classes. These are awesome for getting your dog used to being around other dogs and people, and for practicing their focus. Then you have private sessions, which are perfect for tackling those very specific problems that only happen at home. Like going bonkers when the doorbell rings or trying to surf the kitchen counters. And there are a couple of other formats that might fit your lifestyle better. Board and Train is where your dog actually stays with a trainer for a while. It's a really intensive, deep dive kind of program. Then there's day training. This is a great choice if you're swamped during the day but still want your dog to get that one-on-one professional training while you're busy. Okay, section 3, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, how to actually find and check out trainers right here in the Southport area. This is where you put on your detective hat. First things first, let's talk money. I know, it's not the fun part, but it's important. This table gives you a pretty good idea of what you can expect to pay for different kinds of training around here. Just having these ballpark figures in mind will help you know what's a fair price when you start making those calls. All right, what about all those confusing letters you see after a trainer's name? They're certifications, and they basically show that the trainer has put in the work to get educated. So what should you look for? Well, CPDTKA is a solid all-around one. If you see KPA CTP, you know they're skilled in positive reinforcement. And if you're dealing with bigger behavioral stuff like serious fear or reactivity, those IAABC letters are the gold standard. Okay, so you've done some homework, you found a few trainers you like. Now what do you ask them? Let's go through a quick checklist for that first phone call or email. Knowing what to ask is so important. Here are 5 essential questions. First, ask about their training philosophy. Make sure it aligns with what you're comfortable with. Second, just confirm their credentials. Then ask how they're going to customize the plan for your dog, because every dog is different. Of course, you'll want to get the final cost and exactly what that includes. And finally, ask what you need to do between sessions. Your homework is a huge part of the success. And this quote really sums it all up. Why does all this matter so much? Because when you choose a trainer who uses humane, positive methods, you're not just being nice to your dog. You're choosing a path that's safer, that works better in the long run, and honestly, it helps you be a good neighbor in a close-knit town like ours. All right, section 5, let's bring this all back home to Southport. Being a great dog owner here means knowing the local rules and, of course, the best spots to go with your furry friend. The rules in Southport are actually pretty simple, which is nice. The big things to remember are, your dog has to be on a leash in any public area, and they need to be up to date on their rabies vaccine with the tag right on their collar. And here's some good news. You don't have to worry about a separate city or county dog license. So once you start training, you're going to need places to practice all those new skills out in the real world, right? Well, Southport and the areas nearby have some really great spots for exactly that. If you're working on that nice, loose leash walk, you can't beat the Southport Waterfront Park and the River Walk. They're perfect because you get just enough distraction. People, birds, boats, but it's usually not too overwhelming. And if you're looking for a bit more of an outing, the trails over at Fort Fisher are fantastic for on-leash practice. Now, what about when you want to practice things like recall, getting your dog to come when called, off-leash? For that, you absolutely want a safe, fenced-in area. Your go-to spot right here in town is the Southport Dog Park. And if you want to mix it up, the dog parks on Oak Island are super close and a great option too. So let's just circle back to that picture we painted at the beginning. Think about what a well-behaved dog really means for your life here. It means stress-free walks downtown. It means relaxing by the water without any worries. It means feeling that sense of pride in your dog. Choosing the right trainer is how you start making that a reality. I wish you and your dog the absolute best on your training journey. It's going to open up so many wonderful experiences for you both here in Southport.